Salvete omnes. So in this video, we're going to do a few things. We're going to be pluralizing sentences. We're going to be talking about one river and then switching the sentence to talk about two, one town, switching to talk about two towns. And so we're going to continue. I'm going to continue asking you to take notes. I understand that the video was small, and I've done some things to correct that, so that should not be a problem, or it should be much less of a problem this time. And so I'm going to need everybody to have a lined piece of paper and ready to take notes on. It will be a small amount of notes, but again, the notes are just a physical piece of evidence that you watched the video, participated, and followed along with the video. So you already know from these last few classes that insula is a singular and insulae is the plural, island and islands. But other words get pluralized differently. Words that end in us, like fluvius, get pluralized by having the us become an e. So fluvius becomes flui. Fluvius means river. Flui means rivers. And oppidum means town. Oppida means towns. And other words that have the same kind of ending in the singular get pluralized the exact same way. So insula becomes insulae. Provincia becomes provinciae. These you don't need to write down. You already have them down from the last one. Okay, but I'm just reviewing with you what are some of the other words that work the same way that are in this chapter. So fluvius is a masculine word. What's another masculine word? Numerous. Numerous is a masculine word. And it means number, and so it would become numeri. Okay? This is what I would like you to have in your notes. This is what I'm going to have you put down. Okay? I do have to edit these. I do have to add some things to these slides, so I will have to make it small again. But let me just show you what this is. So to the left, there's a sentence, Tusculum oppidum est. So I'd like you to write that down. This is the first thing I'd like you to have in your notes. Please also make sure your name is on the top of the page. Tusculum oppidum est. So all of these sentences just tell what something is. In your book, you've got three things: an oppidum, a town, a fluvius, a river, and an insula, an island. And we're just talking about which of those three things certain named places are, or certain things are. So Tiberis, what is Tiberis? Quid est Tiberis? Tiberis fluvius est, right? So this first one says Tusculum oppidum est. Tusculum oppidum est. Tusculum is a town. But what we're going to do is we're going to change this sentence to a sentence that's talking about Tusculum and talking about something else, another town. So the middle thing just says ad Roma. So you're going to write a sentence that talks not only about Tusculum, but also talks about Roma. So instead of starting our sentence with just Tusculum, you're going to have Tusculum et Roma, Tusculum and Rome. And what we need to do is we need to do two things. We need to pluralize whatever the thing is that it is. Okay, what is it? It's an oppidum, a town. But how do you say towns? Oppidum becomes oppida. And then the other thing we need to do is we need to fix est, because we don't want to say Tusculum and Rome is towns. We want to say Tusculum and Rome are towns. Est is the way to say is, sunt is the way to say are. And so Tusculum oppidum est becomes, and then adding Roma, becomes Tusculum et Roma oppida sunt. Tusculum and Rome towns are. You don't have to write in the ad Rome or add Roma or add Corsica. You don't need to add those in. But what I'd like you to do, what I'd like you to have in your notes is to have two side-by-side sentences. Tusculum oppidum est on the left of your paper, and then Tusculum et Roma oppida sunt on the right-hand side of your paper. Okay, maybe a little arrow in between. So I do need to add something I need to add another river name. So let's add Nilus. Okay. And we have our sentence, Melita give it a second here. Melita insula est. Melita insula est. Melita insula parva est. Melita insula parva est. It's a small island. And then we're going to add Corsica. I didn't say Parva in the sentence because Corsica is a big island, so I don't want to mix it up. We're just going to say that they're islands. Okay, Melita insula est, and we add Corsica. So what's that going to be? Melita et Corsica. Need to pluralize island. Insula becomes insulae. And then instead of est, we're going to use sunt. Melita et Corsica insulae sunt. Melita et Corsica insulae sunt. So I'm going to have you guys do the next four. I'll have Miss Vanderhyde pause the video, and when it gets unpaused again, I will have the answers for you. All right, so I'm just change the color on the answers here. Tiberis et Nilus fluvii sunt. Tiberis et Nilus fluvii sunt. A littera latina est. So A is a Latin letter. So this one's a little different because it's got an adjective with it too. It's not just saying A is a letter and then add B, say that A and B are letters. This is saying A is a Latin letter. And so we know that we have to make the adjective match the noun that it's describing. And so we want to pluralize not only littera and have it become litterae, but we want to pluralize latina too and have it become Latinae, so that everything matches. A et B, litterae Latinae sunt. Okay, duo numerus est. Duo et tria numeri sunt, or tres numeri sunt. Gallia provincia est. So Gaul is a province. Add Hispania. Gallia et Hispania provinciae sunt. Okay. I also want to really quickly, we took a little time yesterday in class to chat about something else. And so what I'd like to do is go back to the speaking assessment rubric real quick and just give a little 90-second, 2-minute overview of that. You have 3 categories, 10 points each. Forming questions. If you can form questions about the map using ubi, which is a where question is where. So if you can make where questions, or if you can make are questions or is questions, like estne Gallia provincia, is Gaul a province, or estne Corsica insula. If you can form questions in both of those ways consistently, I'm going to check this box. And then if your partner is asking you those questions and you're responding to them in a way that shows that you understood those questions, then I'm going to check the next box. Grammar. I'm able to consistently choose the correct endings for the adjectives in all three genders. So if you know the ways that you pluralize the three different categories of words, and you're doing that consistently as well, that's something being looked for as you have this conversation with your partner about the map. And then I can consistently choose the correct endings for the adjectives as well. So you make the adjectives match. So you don't say it's an insula magnus, for example. You say it's an insula magna, a big island. And then fluidity. I can sustain a conversation. That doesn't mean that I don't do pauses. I don't pause to think. It just means that any pausing to think is brief. You're able to sustain that conversation. And so we're going to practice that. I'm going to have some questions for you about the map. I'm going to tell you a little bit of information about the map. Your job is to pay attention, but then I'm also going to stop and I'm going to ask questions. And every question, since it's a video, every question is a shout out question. Okay, so just shout out the answer when I ask a question. Okay, and that is your practice. All right, Gallia provincia est. Gallia provincia magna est. Hispania quoque provincia est. Hispania et Gallia in Europa sunt. Roma in Italia est. Brundisium quoque in Italia est. Roma est oppidum magnum. Et Brundisium quoque est oppidum magnum, sed Tusculum est oppidum parvum. Est ne Corsica oppidum? Minime. Corsica oppidum non est. Corsica insula est. Corsica et Sardinia insulae magnae sunt. Et Sicilia quoque insula magna est. Sed Melita est insula parva. Ubi est Delphi? Ubi est Delphi? Delphi est in Graecia. Delphi in Graecia est. Et Sparta quoque in Graecia est. Estne Delphi fluvius? Minime. Delphi non est fluvius. Delphi est oppidum. Delphi et Sparta sunt oppida Graeca. Delphi et Sparta sunt oppida Graeca. Non sunt oppida Romana. Sunt oppida Graeca. Quid est Creta? Quid est Creta? Creta. Estne Creta insula? Sic, est insula. Creta insula est. Est insula magna. Sed Lemnos, Lesbos, Chios, Samos, Naxos et Rhodus sunt insulae parvae. Sunt insulae parvae Graecae. Small Greek islands. Insulae parvae Graecae. Quid est Aegyptus? Estne Aegyptus fluvius? Minime Aegyptus fluvius non est. Aegyptus provincia est. Et Arabia quoque provincia Romana est. Aegyptus in Africa est, et Arabia in Asia est. Arabia in Asia est. Et hic est imperium Romanum. Omnis imperium Romanum est. Omnis, all of this. Omnis imperium Romanus est. Estne Hispania in imperio Romano. So I'm doing here is I'm putting imperium in the dative. I'm saying imperio instead. Or not in the dative, I'm sorry, in the ablative, because anytime you say in something, you're using the ablative. So, estne Hispania in imperio Romano? Sic. It's gray. So, Hispania in imperio Romano est. Estne Gallia in imperio Romano? Sic. Gallia in imperio Romano quoque est. Sed Germania in imperio Romano non est. Germania provincia non est. Non est in imperio Romano. Sed Britannia est in imperio Romano. Et Syria, et Arabia, et Aegyptus sunt in imperio Romano. Estne Germania in Europa? Sic. Germania in Europa est, sed non est in imperio Romano. All right. You do not have a homework assignment tonight, but what I will be doing for you guys is sharing with you in the next video sort of the list of when you're going to do your conversation. So again, to prepare for that conversation, it's as simple as pulling out your book or pulling out your map with just with a partner and asking questions. If you're alone, it's as simple as opening up the book and then reading from the book, because the book, the reading part of the first chapter, tells you all of the word, has all the words and phrases exactly as you would need to say them, and so you basically, the book is the answer key, and so that is how you can prepare for this conversation. And I will also have the rubric posted for you as well, for you to look at and refer to. All right. Walete.